The stagecoach door opened, and Daniel Mercer stepped forward with a wedding ring in his pocket. The entire town of Cold Creek had gathered behind him. Women held wildflowers. Children stood on barrels for a better view. Even the church bell was ready to ring. But the woman who stepped from the coach was not smiling. Rose Whitaker wore a dusty blue traveling dress, her dark hair pinned beneath a small hat. Her face looked exactly as Daniel had imagined from her photograph. Gentle eyes, soft features, quiet beauty. Then she reached back into the coach and pulled out a rifle. The crowd went silent. Rose raised the weapon and aimed it directly at Daniel's chest. "Daniel Mercer," she said, her voice shaking with anger. "I came west to marry you." Daniel slowly lifted both hands. Rose's eyes filled with tears. "But first, I am placing you under arrest for murdering my brother." A woman in the crowd gasped. Someone dropped a basket of flowers. The church bell rang once by accident, then stopped. Daniel stared at the woman he had loved through letters for 6 months. "I never met your brother," he said. Rose tightened her grip on the rifle. "You were the last man to see him alive."
Love unforgettable stories? Get our complete story packs today. Click the website link in the comments section to access them now.
Before we discover why Rose believed her future husband was a murderer, please like this story, subscribe, and share it with someone who enjoys mysteries from the Canadian frontier. 6 months earlier, Daniel Mercer had been sitting alone at his kitchen table on a bitter Alberta night. Wind pressed against the ranch house, snow covered the empty fields. A lamp burned beside a plate of cold food Daniel had forgotten to eat. He was 34 years old and owned one of the strongest cattle ranches outside Cold Creek. He had land, horses, and enough money to survive another hard winter, but he had no family. His parents were gone. His younger sister had died during a fever outbreak years earlier. Most nights, the only sound in his house was the ticking clock above the fireplace. Daniel had never believed loneliness could hurt like hunger. Then his friend, Reverend Thomas, showed him an advertisement from an Eastern newspaper. A school teacher named Rose Whitaker was seeking an honest husband in the West. She wanted a quiet home, useful work, and a man who valued kindness more than wealth. Daniel wrote to her that same night. He told Rose the truth about himself. He was not charming. He did not dance well. He sometimes went days without speaking to another person. But he worked hard, kept his promises, and wanted a wife who would stand beside him, not behind him. Rose answered 3 weeks later. Her letter smelled faintly of lavender. She wrote about teaching children in a small Ontario town. She loved books, spring rain, and the sound of a kettle beginning to whistle. She admitted that she, too, was lonely. Soon, letters traveled between them every week. Daniel told her about the mountains turning purple at sunset. Rose told him about her students. He described his cattle and the little room he hoped might one day belong to a child. Rose wrote about her older brother, Samuel. "He has always protected me," she wrote. "He travels often for business, but he promises that one day he will settle down." Daniel noticed that Rose never explained what kind of business Samuel did. He did not ask. By the 6th month, Daniel knew the shape of Rose's handwriting better than he knew the trails across his own ranch. Then came the letter that changed his life. "Yes, Daniel, I will come west and become your wife." Daniel repaired the roof, painted the spare bedroom, and bought new curtains from Mrs. Bell's store. He even ordered a carved wooden bed from Calgary. For the first time in years, his house felt like it was waiting for someone. Now Rose stood before him with a rifle. Cold Creek's sheriff, Walter Briggs, pushed through the crowd. He was a heavy man with a red beard and a silver badge pinned crookedly to his coat. "Miss Whitaker," he said carefully, "lower the weapon." Rose did not move. "I have proof." "What proof?" Daniel asked. She pulled a folded packet from inside her coat and tossed it into the dirt. Sheriff Briggs picked it up. "These were found in my brother's room after he disappeared," Rose said. "Letters written by Daniel Mercer." Daniel's stomach tightened. The sheriff unfolded the first letter. "Samuel," he read aloud, "bring the land deeds to Cold Creek. Meet me at the old Miller cabin north of town. Come alone." He looked at Daniel. The letter was signed Daniel Mercer. "That is not my writing," Daniel said. Rose laughed bitterly. "You expect me to believe that? I never wrote to your brother. There are 4 letters. I wrote only to you." Rose lowered the rifle slightly, but her anger did not fade. My brother came west 3 months ago. His last letter said he was meeting you. Then he vanished. I swear I never saw him. Sheriff Briggs examined the papers. The signature looks like yours, Daniel. Looking like mine does not make it mine. A murmur spread through the crowd. Daniel saw familiar faces turning suspicious. Men who had worked beside him now avoided his eyes. Women pulled their children closer. Then a calm voice rose from behind them. This matter should be handled inside. Edwin Pike, president of Cold Creek Bank, walked forward. He was a respected man in his late 50s, always dressed in a clean black coat. He had helped farmers through bad winters, paid for repairs to the church, and often lent money without demanding immediate payment. Everyone trusted Edwin Pike. He rested a hand on Rose's shoulder. You have suffered a terrible loss, he said, but pointing a rifle in the street will not bring your brother home. Rose's face softened for the first time. Mr. Pike? You know him? Daniel asked. My brother mentioned him in his letters, Rose said. He said Mr. Pike was helping him with an important land purchase. Edwin gave a sad nod. Samuel came to the bank several times. He was investigating property records. Then he disappeared. Daniel studied the banker's expression. Something about the answer felt carefully prepared. Sheriff Briggs ordered Daniel to surrender his revolver. Daniel obeyed, though every eye in town made him feel guilty before any trial had begun. They moved into the sheriff's office. Rose sat across from Daniel while Briggs placed the forged letters on his desk. Edwin Pike stood near the window. Daniel looked closely at the pages. The handwriting did resemble his own. The slant of the letters, the shape of the capital M, even the short line he often placed beneath his name. But one detail was wrong. Daniel picked up the final letter. This paper came from the Cold Creek Bank. Edwin turned from the window. How could you know that? Daniel held it toward the lamp. A faint mark appeared inside the paper, a small crown above the letters CCB. The bank orders this paper from Calgary, Daniel said. I signed my ranch loan on the same kind. Sheriff Briggs examined it. Edwin smiled faintly. Hundreds of sheets passed through my office. Samuel could have taken some himself, or someone at the bank wrote these letters, Daniel said. Edwin's smile vanished. Rose looked between them. Before anyone could speak, the door flew open. Daniel's ranch hand, Caleb, stumbled inside, breathing hard. Daniel, you need to come back to the ranch. I am being questioned. It cannot wait. Caleb held up a mud-covered leather satchel. I found this hidden beneath the floor of your barn. Rose rose slowly. She recognized the initials burned into the leather. SW. Caleb opened the satchel and removed a blood-stained shirt, 3 forged land deeds, and a silver pocket watch. Rose covered her mouth. That watch belonged to Samuel. Sheriff Briggs turned toward Daniel. Daniel stared at the satchel in disbelief. Someone had placed a missing man's belongings inside his barn, but who had access to his ranch, and how had that same person copied his handwriting? Then Rose noticed something trapped beneath the watch chain. It was a small bank key. A numbered tag hung from it. Edwin Pike suddenly stepped away from the desk, and Daniel realized the respected banker was reaching slowly toward the pistol beneath his coat. Daniel moved before Edwin Pike could draw the pistol. He struck the banker's wrist with both hands. The gun fired into the ceiling, showering the room with wood dust. Rose screamed and dropped behind the desk. Sheriff Briggs grabbed Edwin from behind, but the banker drove an elbow into his ribs. Briggs fell against the wall. Edwin rushed for the door. Daniel caught the back of his coat and pulled him down. They crashed across the floor, scattering Samuel's forged deeds. For a man nearing 60, Edwin fought with surprising strength. He struck Daniel across the mouth, rolled free, and reached for the fallen pistol. Rose seized her rifle. "Do not touch it!" Edwin froze. Her hands trembled, but the barrel remained steady. The gentle schoolteacher Daniel had imagined was gone. In her place stood a woman who had crossed half of Canada to face the man she believed had murdered her brother. Edwin slowly raised his hands. Sheriff Briggs recovered and snapped iron cuffs around his wrists. "Why did you reach for your gun?" Rose demanded. Edwin looked at the bank key hanging from Samuel's watch. "I was afraid." "Of what?" Daniel asked. "Of being blamed for whatever Samuel did." Rose's face hardened. "My brother did nothing." Edwin gave her a pitying look. "You did not know him as well as you think." Rose stepped toward him. "Be careful. I tried to help Samuel. He was ambitious, impatient, and drowning in debt. You are lying. He came west claiming he represented investors from Ontario. He wanted to buy struggling ranches, divide the land, and sell it to the railway. Rose shook her head. My brother helped people. He helped himself. Daniel watched the pain move across her face. Rose had traveled west holding tightly to one truth, that Samuel had been an honorable man. Without that belief, her journey, her anger, and the rifle in her hands suddenly had nowhere to stand. Sheriff Briggs placed Edwin in the small cell at the back of the office. No one leaves town, he announced. Not Daniel, not Miss Whitaker, not Pike. Edwin gripped the bars. You are making a serious mistake. You pulled a gun in my office, because Mercer attacked me. After you reached for it, Edwin looked at Daniel. You have no idea what you have stepped into. The threat was quiet, but Daniel heard it clearly. He gathered the forged deeds from the floor. Each document transferred a different ranch to a company called Northern Grazing and Land. The owner's signatures appeared genuine, but several of the men listed had never agreed to sell. One name stood out: Daniel Mercer. According to the deed, Daniel had sold his ranch 4 months earlier for $1. Rose read over his shoulder. You did not sign this? No. The signature matches the letters. Daniel nodded. Whoever forged one forged them all. Caleb shifted nervously near the doorway. Daniel looked at his young ranch hand. You said you found the satchel beneath the barn floor. Yes. Which part of the barn? Under the grain room. That floor has not been opened in years. Caleb avoided his eyes. I noticed a loose board. Daniel stepped closer. You noticed it today? Caleb swallowed. I was cleaning. You never clean the grain room unless I tell you. The room became still. Caleb's face lost its color. Rose raised the rifle again. Who told you where to find the satchel? No one. Daniel grabbed Caleb by the shirt. Tell me the truth. Caleb looked toward the cell. Edwin Pike stood behind the bars, watching him. That was all Daniel needed to see. You work for Pike, Daniel said. Caleb's lower lip shook. I did not know anyone would disappear. Rose's voice became dangerously quiet. What did you do to my brother? Nothing, I swear. Then start talking. Caleb sank into a chair. His confession came in broken pieces. Edwin had approached him the previous winter when Caleb owed money after a failed card game. The banker promised to erase the debt if Caleb completed small jobs, counting Daniel's cattle, copying numbers from his ranch books, and stealing letters from the Mercer mailbox. My letters? Rose whispered. Caleb nodded. Mr. Pike read every one before Daniel saw them. Daniel felt sick. The private words Rose had sent him, her hopes, fears, and dreams, had passed through Edwin's hands. How did he copy my writing? Daniel asked. He made me bring him your old receipts and ranch notes. He said he needed to study the signature. And the satchel? Caleb covered his face. Pike gave it to me 2 nights ago. He told me to hide it beneath the barn and pretend to discover it after Miss Whitaker arrived. Rose turned toward the cell. You knew I was coming. Edwin said nothing. You wanted me to accuse Daniel in front of the whole town. Still, the banker remained silent. Caleb began crying. He said once Daniel was arrested, the ranch would be taken over by the bank. I thought it was only about land. What happened to Samuel? Rose demanded. Caleb shook his head. I never met him. Rose grabbed his shoulder. Do not lie to me. I heard Pike arguing with someone inside the bank 3 months ago. A stranger. The man said the forged deeds were too dangerous and that he wanted more money. Was it Samuel? I do not know. I never saw his face. Edwin finally spoke from the cell. You have heard enough from a frightened thief. Caleb jumped up. I am not taking the blame for you. Then tell them everything, Edwin replied. The young ranch hand went silent. Daniel saw the fear return to Caleb's face. What else is there? He asked. Caleb stared at the floor. Pike does not work alone. Sheriff Briggs frowned. Who is helping him? Caleb glanced toward the window, then toward the office door. I cannot say here. Why not? Because the other man wears a badge. Sheriff Briggs slowly touched the silver star on his chest. Rose turned her rifle toward him. Daniel stepped between them. Caleb, which lawman? But the answer never came. The office window shattered. A bullet struck Caleb in the chest and threw him backward over the chair. Rose cried out. Daniel pulled her to the floor as another shot tore through the wall. Sheriff Briggs rushed to the broken window and fired into the street. A rider in a dark coat galloped around the corner and disappeared between the buildings. Daniel crawled to Caleb. Blood spread across the young man's shirt. "Stay with me," Daniel said. Caleb's eyes searched the room. "I am sorry. Who fired that shot?" Caleb reached weakly for Daniel's sleeve. "The badge? Whose badge? The sheriff is not—" His breath stopped. Daniel stared at him. Sheriff Briggs stood near the window, his pistol still raised. Rose's face filled with suspicion. Edwin Pike smiled from inside the cell. Then the town church bell began ringing wildly. A voice shouted from outside, "Fire! The bank is burning!" They ran into the street. Black smoke poured from the bank windows. Flames climbed the walls while townspeople formed a line with water buckets. Edwin pushed against the cell bars behind them. "My records!" Daniel looked from the burning bank to the dead witness inside the sheriff's office. The fire had started seconds after Caleb tried to expose Pike's partner. Someone was destroying the evidence. Rose grabbed Daniel's arm. "Samuel's key." She pulled the numbered bank key from her pocket. "If the records are burning, whatever this opens may be our only proof." They raced through the smoke into the bank. The main room was already filled with heat. Papers curled and blackened across the floor. Daniel wrapped his coat around Rose and led her toward a row of small iron boxes behind the counter. Rose found the number on Samuel's key. Box 27. The key turned. Inside was a ledger, a bundle of railway maps, and a sealed envelope bearing Rose's name. Her hands shook as she opened it. The letter was written in Samuel's hand. Rose read the first line aloud. "My dear sister, if you are reading this, then Daniel Mercer has probably been accused of killing me." She looked at Daniel in shock. The fire roared behind them. Rose continued reading. "Daniel is innocent. I know who has been forging the deeds, but the truth is worse than I feared. The man controlling Edwin Pike is Sheriff Walter Briggs." Daniel looked toward the bank entrance. Sheriff Briggs stood there, blocking their escape. His pistol was pointed at Rose. "I hoped the fire would save me the trouble of killing you both," he said. Sheriff Walter Briggs stood in the burning bank doorway, his pistol aimed at Rose. Smoke rolled around him like a black curtain. Daniel moved in front of her. "You killed Samuel," he said. Briggs smiled. "Not at first." Rose clutched her brother's letter against her chest. "What does that mean?" "It means your brother came to Cold Creek with a plan of his own." Flames crawled across the ceiling. A beam cracked above them. Daniel glanced toward the back window, but iron bars covered it. Briggs had chosen his position carefully. The only way out was through him. "Keep talking," Daniel said. Briggs laughed. "You think words will save you?" "No, but men like you enjoy hearing themselves explain how clever they are." The sheriff's smile disappeared. Rose continued reading Samuel's letter under her breath. Daniel heard scattered words: forged deeds, stolen cattle, Pike, Briggs. Then Rose stopped, as her face changed. "What does it say?" Daniel asked. She could barely force out the words. "Samuel was part of it." Briggs nodded. "At last, the truth." Rose stared at him. "My brother helped you?" "He found ranchers in debt. Pike gave him their financial records. Samuel approached them with promises of quick money. Once he had their signatures, I copied them onto false deeds." Daniel felt anger burn hotter than the fire. "You stole their land. We took land from men too weak to keep it. And the cattle? Moved from the stolen ranches at night and sold under new brands. Pike handled the money. Samuel found buyers." Rose's eyes filled with tears. Every good memory of her brother now fought against the words in his letter. "He lied to me," Briggs shrugged. "He lied to everyone." Rose looked down at the page. "Then why did he write this?" "Because Samuel became afraid." The sheriff's voice turned bitter. "He discovered the railway planned to pay a fortune for land north of Cold Creek. Suddenly, he wanted a larger share. When Pike refused, Samuel threatened to expose us." Daniel understood. "So you forged letters in my name and arranged a meeting. We needed a man the town would believe capable of violence. A lonely rancher with no family was perfect. You chose Daniel because no one would defend him," Rose said. Briggs looked amused, until his bride arrived carrying a rifle. A burning section of ceiling collapsed behind Daniel. Sparks exploded across the floor. Rose coughed and covered her mouth. "We need to leave," Daniel said. "You will," Briggs replied. "Just not alive." He raised the pistol. Daniel grabbed the iron box and hurled it. Briggs fired. The bullet struck Daniel high in the shoulder, spinning him into the counter. Rose screamed. The iron box hit Briggs in the face. His shot went wild as Daniel fell. Rose lifted her rifle, but Briggs rushed forward and knocked the barrel aside. He seized her by the throat and slammed her against the wall. The letter slipped from her hand. "You should have stayed in Ontario," he growled. Rose drove her knee into his stomach. Briggs staggered. She struck him across the jaw with the rifle stock, then ran to Daniel. Blood darkened his shirt. "Can you stand?" "I think so." She pulled him up. Briggs recovered and reached for his pistol. Before he could fire, a gunshot sounded from the doorway. Briggs's weapon flew from his hand. Edwin Pike stood outside the bank, holding Sheriff Briggs's spare revolver. One of his wrists still carried a broken cuff. Briggs stared at him. "You fool." Edwin's face was pale. "You ordered Caleb killed. He was going to confess. He was a frightened boy. He was a loose end." Edwin stepped into the smoke. "And Samuel?" Briggs gave a cruel smile. "You helped bury him." Rose froze. Edwin lowered his eyes. "I believed he was already dead. You believed what was convenient." Rose raised her rifle toward the banker. "Where is my brother?" Edwin looked at her with shame. "Under the old Miller cabin." Rose's face crumpled, but she refused to lower the weapon. "You hid him." "Yes." "Then you helped frame Daniel." "Yes." "And you read every letter I sent." Edwin nodded again. "I told myself no one would be hurt if Daniel surrendered the ranch. Caleb is dead." "I know." "My brother is dead." "I know." "And Daniel has been shot." Edwin looked toward the wounded rancher. "I cannot undo any of it." Briggs lunged for the fallen pistol. Edwin fired first. The shot struck Briggs in the leg. The sheriff collapsed near the burning doorway. "You weak old coward," he shouted. Edwin dropped the revolver. "No," he said quietly. "I was a coward when I obeyed you." The roof groaned. Daniel grabbed Rose's arm. "We have to move." Together, they dragged Briggs into the street. Edwin followed, carrying Samuel's ledger and letter. Seconds later, the bank roof collapsed. The crowd scattered from the blast of sparks. Briggs tried to crawl away, but several ranchers surrounded him. Sheriff Briggs had used their debts, stolen their land, and sold their cattle. Now the entire town saw him lying in the dirt without his badge or power. Reverend Thomas picked up the silver star that had fallen from Briggs's coat. "You never deserved this," he said. A territorial officer arrived from Calgary 3 days later. Samuel's ledger contained every forged deed, every cattle sale, and every payment made to Pike and Briggs. The railway maps proved they planned to seize half the valley before news of the new rail line became public. Edwin confessed to everything. He received a long prison sentence, but his testimony helped return the stolen ranches to their owners. Briggs was sentenced to hang for Samuel's murder and Caleb's death. Daniel was cleared before the entire town. But freedom did not repair what had happened between him and Rose. A week later, they stood beside the old Miller cabin as Samuel's body was taken away. Rose held her brother's final letter. "He was not the man I believed he was," she whispered. Daniel's wounded arm rested in a sling. "He did terrible things. I crossed the country to avenge an honorable man. You crossed the country because you loved your brother. That does not make him innocent." "No," Daniel said, but his final choice mattered. Samuel had confessed in writing, gathered the evidence, and tried to protect Daniel before Briggs silenced him. It did not erase his crimes, but it showed that even a guilty man could feel regret. Rose looked toward the snowy mountains. "I pointed a rifle at you in front of the whole town. You had convincing evidence. I wanted to hate you. I noticed." Despite her tears, she smiled. Daniel reached into his coat and removed the ring he had carried to the stagecoach. "I bought this before you arrived." Rose stared at it. "I cannot marry you because of letters." "Neither can I." Her smile faded. Daniel continued. "Letters can be stolen. Handwriting can be copied. Promises can be forged." He closed his hand around the ring. "So stay until spring. Teach at the town school. Get to know the man behind the name." Rose looked at him for a long moment. "And after spring? If you still want to arrest me, I will try not to run." She laughed through her tears. Rose stayed. During the winter, she taught Daniel to dance badly in his kitchen. Daniel showed her how to ride through deep snow. They argued, forgave, and slowly learned the difference between imagination and real love. When spring came, Rose stood beneath a flowering tree outside the church. The whole town gathered again. This time, she carried no rifle. Daniel held out the same ring. "Rose Whitaker, did you come west to arrest me?" She placed her hand in his. "I did. And what are you here to do now?" Rose looked into the eyes of the man she had once believed was a murderer. "I came to choose you." The church bell rang, and the town that had gathered to witness an arrest finally witnessed a wedding. If this story kept you listening, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who believes that truth may arrive painfully, but love must always be earned.